So Blizzard have started to fully embrace doing dodgy stuff within the video games they release. And it doesn't matter if that's a mobile game, it doesn't matter if that's a full-blown AAA console/PC title. It doesn't matter what it is, Blizzard are just milking every last penny they can out of their players. And I'm going to say the worst of it, by far the worst of it, started with Diablo Immortal, the mobile game that had so many microtransactions. You basically get to a certain point and there's pretty much no progress unless you pay money. Well, that's what I've heard about it at least, and I've seen people talking about some players being $35,000 in debt to Blizzard because of Diablo Immortal. But then it went from Immortal over to Diablo 4, and the microtransactions in the game are stupidly highly priced. But not only that, you've got full-blown season passes that are going to be coming into the game. You've also got the cost of the game itself, because it's a AAA video game. And not only that, if you look at their Twitter account, they've done a very, very good job at exploiting Megan Fox. They've used so many clips of her talking to players about how they've died in the game and stupid things like that. They've used Megan Fox a lot, and the way she's dressed in these little clips, it's like it's a thirst trap to get people involved in the game and excited about the game so that they can play and Megan Fox can talk to them about the way they've died. But then we move over to Overwatch 2, the meat and potatoes of this video, the main part of it. And there was supposed to be this full-blown standalone PvE experience for the players coming to Overwatch 2. But they decided, we're going to scrap it. We're not releasing that PvE experience. What we're going to do instead is release a bunch of missions. And Overwatch 2 is a live service game, and it's a free-to-play one, so you would think it would stick along that sort of premise of being free-to-play, just filled up with some microtransactions so that they can make some money on the video game they've released. But it gets a lot worse than that, because for a start, Overwatch 2 is basically just a reskin, an update for Overwatch 1. They didn't add too much into the game, there was much different at all from the original title. And then shortly after announcing that they are cancelling the PvE experience, they state they are going to release some story missions. And these missions in a free-to-play game are not free to play. And that's what I mean when I say they're fully embracing milking their players. Because you've got all the heavy microtransactions and stuff in other titles that Blizzard make or publish or whatever. And then in Overwatch 2, you don't just have pay us $6, $8 for a mission pack, play these missions, blah, blah, blah. You've got, we're going to charge you $15 to give you 3 missions because we're going to bundle in a load of random shit that doesn't really cost us any money to make. We're going to chuck that in, we're going to up the price of the bundle so we can milk more money out of you in our free-to-play title. And that's why you often see people saying that games aren't free-to-play, that all the ones that are titled free-to-play, they're not free-to-play, they're free to download, because there's going to be some point of the game where you have to pay some money or there's encouragement for you to spend money to get more enjoyment out of it. And that is 100% the case with Overwatch 2, because they scrapped their standalone PvE experience to then go and sell you separate missions. These missions cannot be accessed unless you pay to play them. So they took away the idea of their PvE experience to add something in behind a paywall. And I think it's disgusting the way they have done that. Blizzard is a company that makes a lot of money year in, year out. They have a lot of people purchasing a lot of different items in the games that they sell. And yes, I know it's a business, it's a corporation, they want to continue making profits every single year. But there's business and making money, and then there's being greedy to the point where you're just taking the piss. And that's exactly what this is. However, the Blizzard fanboys and stuff are going to accept that they are doing this. The people that love the video games that Blizzard create and publish, they're not going to say a bad word about this. They don't care. They're going to chuck their $15 at the company and go, here you go, give me my story missions. So you have Diablo Immortal charging you a ridiculous amount of money to make good progress in the game. You have Diablo 4, where you have to purchase the game for a lot of money. You have to buy season passes. There'll probably be full paid expansions at some point, and there's also really stupidly priced microtransactions. None of them give you stat boosts or anything like that. It's not a pay-to-win situation, but they're charging $28 for a fucking skin in their video game that you've already paid for. So we're talking that sort of level, and then Overwatch 2, they go, we're not giving you a PvE experience. Actually, we are. We're going to give you it in a very small portion, and we're going to charge you money for it as well. So not only is the Diablo series an insult to gamers in the form of, like, because it might be good gameplay, people might enjoy actually playing the games and whatever, but in the terms of how much they are, like, being greedy, trying to milk their player base, it's an insult to us gamers, and it's getting even worse. They are fully going ahead with everything they can possibly do to get as much profit as they can. There are a few other companies out there that do it. You've got Ubisoft, you have EA. That's literally just to name a couple. Some of the video game companies that are around that produce AAA video games, they are incredibly greedy. So this comes as absolutely no surprise, no shock, no nothing like that. It just comes as disgust. That's pretty much what it is. I think it goes as far as saying it's rude to do something like this in a video game you've created. People out there that purchase your game, even people out there that download your free-to-play game, they are supporting you as a company, and you are biting the hand that feeds you. And more people need to stand up to the shit that these companies do and say enough is enough. How many more years are we going to go through where companies do this stuff and it gets to the point where we're having to pay for pretty much everything in the games we play? Video game prices have gone up, the quality has come down, and companies are now finding every little different thing they can to slap a monetary value on it. As long as they are making revenue, they don't give a shit about anything else. As I said, Overwatch 2 pretty much does nothing different to the first game. In fact, most of the characters in the game are ripped from the first game and just updated visually. And some companies don't get away with this stuff. Companies like Blizzard do because of all the fanboys, but some companies don't get away with this. There was a game a few years ago called The Culling, and they tried charging everyone per match they played. They gave you these match tokens, and if you win your game, it was like a battle royale. If you win your game, you're awarded a match token to play another one. If you don't win, you run out, and then you have to purchase match tokens to play more. So you spend, I don't know, for pure example, say you spend $3, you get 10 match tokens. Something stupid like that. But they tried charging people to play their game. Like, you had to pay like £6 to buy it. So like $8, $9 to buy the game in the first place. Then separately in-game you had to pay to get match tokens. And they never got away with it. Everyone went ballistic. Just like back in 2006. Where companies tried like selling horse armor. But no, that's absolutely fine nowadays. Diablo 4 has horse armor you can buy. In fact, some horse armor came in one of the bigger editions of the game. It's fine for them to do it now, but back 17 years ago, it was a problem. The smaller companies that don't have as much of a fan base, as big a fan base, they don't get away with it. They get shut down, they get people refusing to play their game and buy their game and stuff. But these big companies get away with it. And they are the ones that are going to make these stupid things the norm. The more this continues, the worse it gets. They're releasing a free-to-play game and they're charging you to play the PvE stuff. Well, next time around, Overwatch 3, they'll charge you to buy the game, and then they'll slap all the DLC stuff, all the microtransactions and passes and stuff inside the game on top. It's already to the point where you pretty much have to pay for everything in Diablo 4. You have to pay to buy the game, you have to pay for the season passes, you have to pay for the skins and stuff that you can get in-game, then you're going to have to pay for expansion. And this stuff doesn't come cheap. $28 for a skin. It's like Call of Duty. They charge you £24, $28 or whatever, they charge you that for a character skin of, say, Rambo, and it's a first-person fucking shooter, so you can't even see it. These companies need to stop insulting gamers. We are the ones that support them. We are the ones that keep them in business. They need to stop, or people need to get some self-respect, grow a backbone, and stand against the companies that do this. Instead of just accepting it and saying it's optional, stand up and say it's unacceptable. Hold them accountable for the stuff they are doing. It's not fair that you download a game, you play it, and you're told there's going to be a PvE experience for that to be cut out, added into the game in a smaller portion, and sold to you. When it comes to free-to-play video games, it's more understandable that there are microtransactions in them. But when it comes to monetizing everything they possibly can, that's when it starts to go downhill, and it's like, well, hold up a minute, sort yourself out. I'm not going to pay for expansion passes, I'm not going to pay for skins, I'm not going to pay for season passes and things like that in a game that I've already fucking paid for. What happens to the days where you buy a game for 40, 50 quid, you go into that game and every outfit available is unlocked through progression of the game? What happened to those days where you actually got quality video games? Diablo 4 again has a bunch of nerfs happening all the time. Their balancing of the character classes was awful. And yes, it's a live service, but you play as your character one day, you've got this weapon that's really cool, you're enjoying it, having fun using the weapon. The next day you log on, and they've nerfed it into the ground. The same thing with the Division 2. You get a powerful build together, you spend 100 hours farming all the stuff for it, you need a couple more pieces, you go onto the game the next day, and the farm's gone, they've patched it out of the game. Or you log on and your weapon's lost 20% of its damage because they've nerfed it. Live service games, free-to-play games, they can be really, really bad. And a lot of the time you'll see the bad ones coming from the companies that are not well known. But when it happens within a company that's been around for years and years, you know that their fan base is willing to let this shit go on. That's why you see this stuff happen. Ubisoft add NFTs to their video games because people don't kick off enough. People are willing to go out and spend money on these stupid pictures or whatever. Even if it's not a lot of money, people still spend money. The Division 2, season pass after season pass. And they know that some people are stupid enough to spend money on it. So they go and slap all of the third echelon Sam Fisher apparel within the paid track because they know people are morons and they're going to spend the money to unlock that apparel. Blizzard know their audience very, very well, and that's why Megan Fox was used for the death screens or whatever on Twitter. They know they are thirst trapping people into buying the game or being excited about the idea of Megan Fox telling you how you died. And that becomes very, very obvious. Like, it becomes crystal clear when you see the outfit she's wearing in them videos. And the amount of times people say microtransactions are optional, battle passes are optional, all this stuff, and if you don't like it, don't play it. They're the people that cause this stuff to happen, that let this stuff continue happening within the gaming space. And on that note, we are going to leave the video there. If you enjoyed it, leaving a like is appreciated. If you wish to support me further as a creator, there are links in the description. Let me know your thoughts about the video in the comments. And if you want to watch more, you can click the video on screen. All support on the channel is greatly appreciated, and I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for watching.